I just came to the greatest year of your life. It's amazing. I have never, ever experienced anything like this, and it is going to be life-changing for me. There is no doubt about it. I just got so much more than I ever expected out of this, and the feelings are just overwhelming. There's so much I want to do with what I learned from here. So it's just awesome. Anybody thinking about going, absolutely, absolutely come.
Let me ask you a question. How many of you are interested in having the greatest year of your life in 2016? Raise your hands. Let me ask you a different question. How many of you are committed to having the greatest year of your life in 2016? There's a big difference between being interested and being committed, isn't there? Being interested, you'll do what's convenient. But being committed, you'll do whatever the it takes.
I think the thing that I'm most excited to take home with me and use every day is a sense of purpose, a reason to get up in the morning and a reason to take care of my body and a reason to be important to myself, because that's what it is. Definitely come to the event. You need to be here. Everyone should be here at least once.
And when you can step into that place of, no matter what, everybody say that with me, say no matter what. When you step into that place of no matter what and you burn the boats, there was this old story about, Cortez, who brought his ships to this new land, and there were 3 ships full of men, and he brought the ships to the land, and as the men, they went to battle, and as the men emptied the ships, they started to kind of infiltrate the land a little bit. Cortez, the leader of the ship, stood back, and he lit the boats on fire. And as the boats grew into flames, the men looked back, and they said, Cortez, what are you doing? He says, either we win or we die. And when you can step into your life in a way that says, you know what, there is no plan B. I don't have a plan B. Because if you have a plan B, you're preparing yourself for plan B. You're saying A probably won't work out, might not work out, so let me have plan B. So what would it be like if you lived your life without plan B? Make the noise that you would make if you lived life without plan B.
You just leave here with a sense of community, but also excitement and vision for your year. And I feel like I can just go out and conquer the world for this year, which doesn't suck, let's be honest.
My experience this weekend was transformational. It was fantastic. Really incredible. It was an intimate group, which was really nice because you didn't feel lost. Genuine connections were made. I felt like I felt safe to transform, and that was huge. And it was everything it promised to be. It was everything it promised to be.
Learned that there were places in my life that I was choosing to close my eyes. I was living with my eyes closed, and that came when I was doing the board breaking. We were actually breaking boards with our palms of our hands, and I was standing there and I'm like going to break this board and I can feel all this energy, and all of a sudden I go to close my eyes. And he's like, George is like, what are you waiting for? Where in your life are you closing your eyes? And as soon as he said that, I opened my eyes and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I have been closing my eyes, and as soon as I was like, decided to show up and open my eyes and see my life and choose to live my life with my eyes open, boom, I broke right through that board.
If you have a chance to come to the greatest year of your life, do it. It's a great way to start your year in focus and on purpose.
If you want to have fun, if you want to break through some things, if you want to create the piece of you that's ready to be shown to the world, or if you just want to have more fun and you just want to be around people that are happy and that support the uniqueness of things that you are and things that you do and who you are, you got to get to George's events. This is the second event that I've been to of his, and both events have transitioned my life a lot. So, yeah, the greatest year of your life.
I would definitely recommend coming to his event next year. It is so worth it.
It was amazing. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was November 9th of 2002. My lifelong dream was to play professional football, and on this day I was 95 yards short of breaking our school record for yards in a career. And the vision, everything that I had been working toward my entire life was right there. I could feel it, I could taste it, I could touch it. And I was really just crushing it my senior year. And on this run play, my job was to block the defender that was standing in front of me to prevent him from tackling the running back that was coming from behind me. And all of a sudden I plant my right leg to give one last thrust, and the running back got tackled from behind, and both of them come crashing down on my leg, and I got up and I knew something happened. I reached down to grab my leg, and I felt the bone shift in my leg, and I crumbled to the ground, and I knew it was over. And the trainer came and got me off the ground and took me to the sideline and took off my shoe, took off my sock, and unraveled the tape on my leg. And I looked down to see, my leg was just sort of dangling there. And I look at the trainer because I needed some sort of confirmation, and he looks me dead in the eye. He says, "Sorry, George, it's over." And I feel the emotion of it to this day, because imagine having a lifelong vision for your life, and in an instant, it's gone. And so they put me in an air boot, an air cast, to stabilize the brake as much as they could, and they started carting me off the field, and all of a sudden I hear these huge cheers from our crowd. And so I look over to the football field, because I just had assumed that maybe we scored a touchdown or had a big play, and everybody on the field is looking at me, clapping their hands. And then I look up to our crowd, 6,000-7,000 people, and they're sending me off in this standing ovation. Everything that I had been working toward in my life had come to an end, and I was being cheered off by these loyal fans that have watched me, come up through the ranks over the years. After that, I fell into a really deep state of depression, because everything that I had been working for was gone. And I started asking some big questions as I was sitting there crying. I was like, what am I, what's my purpose? Why am I here? And a week later, I found myself in the Denver Public Library searching for something, hope, searching for something that would help alleviate this pain and this emptiness that I was feeling. And I remember going up to the second level of the library and reading this whole section. It said personal development. And I went over to the section, I started, tilted my head like this and started reading the spines of the books. And I ran across this one book, and it said Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins. And I was just thinking to myself, unlimited power, it's something I can use right about now. So I pull off the book of the shelf and I start reading the pages. And you've probably had that experience where you read a book and you just get chills. So I started reading the information, this empowering information in this book, and I thought, whoa. In my 25 years of being on planet Earth, I had never come across information like this. And so this was January of 2005, and I got really inspired. And so over the next 30 days, I went on this crazy media fast. I stopped listening to music, I stopped watching television, and I would just plug into my mind this personal and development information, Tony Robbins and Psycho-Cybernetics, Think and Grow Rich, Dale Carnegie, anything that I get my hands on that would help me become a better person and help me get beyond these feelings of emptiness that I was feeling. I was just in search for. So I'd go get audio programs, plug them into my car as I was driving. After 30 days, I felt myself coming out of this place of feeling like I was depressed. And so I go back to work and I give my 2 weeks notice. I was like, all right, I'm done here. These are my last 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, I wasn't teaching what I was supposed to be teaching and training, which was technology and sales techniques. I was teaching what I was learning out of these books, becoming fearless and breaking through patterns and taking control of your own thoughts and stepping into more courage. And I remember on my last day, I had 3 of my reps come up to me and they said, "Hey, George, you should be a motivational speaker. You should be a motivational speaker. You should be a motivational speaker." And the third time I heard it, and I don't know what your spiritual or religious beliefs are, but I do believe that the universe or God or the Creator communicates to us in a lot of different ways, and in a lot of cases, it's through other people. And so the third time, man, it clicked. And I had just finished reading this book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. So I resigned from the job, and I read this book called Psycho-Cybernetics, talks about the power of visualization to increase your own self-worth, step into a greater version of you, and really create your reality based on using these powerful visualizations. So every morning I would go into, a 5-minute sort of theater of my mind, and I would imagine myself in front of audiences. I would imagine myself speaking, inspiring, uplifting, and empowering people, and I would hear the sounds of the crowd cheering or the interaction between me and the audience. I would imagine the venue and see all the people, and I can see it so clearly to this day. And I had no idea how I was going to go from, depressed corporate manager over to motivational speaker, but I just knew that if I held the vision and I took the inspired action that would show up, that I could eventually live into those visions. And within 3.5 years, I'd started a speaking and a training and a coaching business. I get to travel around the country and speak with large audiences and even smaller audiences and just teach what I've learned along the way. But the key was that 3.5 years, and I still use it to this day. Visualization is a huge part of my process. This is a process that I teach people how to use the power of visualization, and we spend half the day creating vision boards where I bring the boards, I bring the magazines, I bring the glue sticks, I bring the scissors, you bring your vision, and we make it real on the vision board, and you leave with a completed vision board. And it's so inspiring. People leave there with this new vision for their life of what's possible. And this is only the first half of day one. The second half of day one, we get into, okay, what values are important for me to line up to my vision? What old values are no longer valid, and what new values can I take on and embody?
One of my favorite stories is from Les Brown, and he tells this story, some of you may have heard it, about 2 kids who grew up in the Northwest, where it's super snowy in the wintertime. And so these 2 kids come running out and they come play, and they can't see because everything's covered with snow, if you can imagine. And so as they're playing around, one kid kind of ventures off this way, the other one ventures off this way, and the other kid over here didn't see that he was on a frozen pond of ice. And it was very thin, so it cracks, he breaks through, and he starts sinking down into the pond. The other kid sees him, he runs over, he can't reach him, doesn't know what to do, so just pure instinct, he runs over and he grabs this huge tree branch and he cracks this huge tree branch down, drags it over, puts it down in the pond, and the kid pulls his way up and his friend helps him up. There was an ongoer that was watching the whole thing, and he was over to help. And as the paramedics came, they asked the question, they looked at the tree, they saw the branch, and they said, how did this little boy, this little 8-year-old boy, break that huge branch off that tree? And the onlooker said, well, it's simple. There was nobody there telling him that he couldn't do it. So this weekend is partly about plugging yourself into an environment and into environments where you get to surround yourself with people who want to see you fly. Because how many of you realize and see that there's enough haters out there? How many of you? There's enough naysayers out there. There's enough people with their own opinions out there. And what we have to do if we want to have the greatest year of our life in 2016 is we got to plug ourselves into a peer group, a group of people who love us, support us, and want to see us at our best.
In those 3.5 years, I would sit down and I would imagine myself, I would see it, I would feel it, I would envision it, I would embody it. And I visualized in so many ways that over the course of time, your brain doesn't know the difference between something that you vividly imagine and something that you're actually experiencing. And so when you imagine over and over and over again this reality that you would like to create, your brain begins to think over time that it's real. And as it does, it starts to bring in the data, the information, the people, the circumstances, the events that reflect the internal vision that you have. The conversations start to reflect the internal vision that you have. You'll run into somebody that can help you with the next step on your journey.
You don't know what you don't know, okay? There are people who have so much value here, not just in the speakers, but in the other people that attend this, okay? The divine is in our life and is trying to reach you and has put all these resources in one room just so you can connect with other people who can connect you to your success, to the next person that you need to talk to. Like, this is where the magic happens. but it doesn't happen until you commit to wanting to do it. Once you make that commitment, the universe is like, all right, they're freaking ready, and then throws everything at you that you've been waiting for. So quit waiting, just do it. And if it speaks to you, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You'll read another book, you'll go to a seminar, you'll get an audio program, you'll find a mentor, and all of a sudden, this vision that you have inside begins to become real on the outside, and over the course of time, the internal vision matches the external vision, and that's the power of creating an unstoppable vision. So if you're ready to make this year the greatest year of your life, you want to make sure that you attend.
I am Jacqueline, and this 3-day workshop has been transformational for me. I have overcome many personal obstacles. I am so at peace, I'm humbled, I am thankful and grateful for this entire experience, and everybody needs to experience this in their lifetime.
Run, get here, do whatever you have to. It's unbelievable amount of value for what you pay. It's such a small amount of money. There's nothing to keep you from being here. And I can just say that I was at home in a fetal position, been through a really rough year and a half, and came basically just to get out of the house. And I cannot believe what has happened to me in these very short 72 hours.
Oh my gosh, you'd be so silly if you didn't. Why would you not want to have more of yourself, have an incredible year, break through things that have just been stuck? I mean, make a simple choice for yourself and come and enjoy 3 days and find out what you can find out about yourself.
I just think if you're somebody who's looking for one little push over the edge to experience that one thing that you're missing, then you should go to George's event and do whatever it takes to get there.
Don't choose it for anybody else. Don't let anybody else make the choice for you. You are worth it. Choose it.
I would say get to this event next year, 2017, the greatest year of your life with George Ira Carroll.